and these halat will come from Allah. What the disbelievers do, Allah SWT is not bothered about these. It's what the believers will do. Allah will base His decisions upon the actions of the believers. So when people say that the halat, the conditions will change, when the hukumat, when the leadership will change, this is false, this is wrong. Because whatever conditions we face in this world are based upon the commands of Allah, whether we are making them or breaking them. The results are based purely on this, not on the leaders of the world. Those people who break the commands of Allah in Jahannam, they will be told that whether you do sabr or not is the same result for you now. That your punishment is because of your own sins, whether you do sabr or not. Whether you do sabr or not makes no difference now. This punishment is because of your own actions. Therefore, my dear brothers, sabr is with taqwa. Whoever does sabr with taqwa, then Allah says, I will remove every difficulty from you. There are 5 promises based on taqwa. There are 5 promises Allah has made on taqwa. In the Quran, Allah has mentioned 5 promises on taqwa. First one is that I will make a way out of every difficulty for the muttaqi. A person wants to refrain from sin. If the whole world wants to put one person into sin, the whole world wants to get together, put one person into sin, but he wants to refrain from it, then Allah will make a way for him to avoid that sin. Why? Because Allah does not do dhulm upon His people. That the command is to refrain from sin, and He wants to, and Allah does not tell him, this cannot happen. This is why whoever wants to refrain from sin, Allah will save him from that sin. Even if the 7 heavens and the 7 earths get together, and in between this, the whole of the 7 heavens and the 7 earths, and all that which it contains, wants to put this person to sin, Allah will make a way out for him through all the 7 heavens and the 7 earths. That's why it is mentioned that a person who fears Allah in seclusion, Allah will make a way out of this difficulty for him. Yusuf alayhi salam wanted to run away from sin. People are saying, why are you going to run to? All the doors are closed. All of the doors were closed. All of the doors were locked. Say, where are you going to run to? How are you going to escape now? All the doors have been locked. But the person who wants to refrain from sin, Allah will make a way out of every difficulty for him. Quran, bring iman upon the Quran that this is the book of Allah. Bring iman upon the Quran is that whatever news we've been conveyed is true. This is having iman upon the Quran. That bring iman upon the news that has been conveyed, not just on the fact that this is a book of Allah. So when a person his haya is related to his taqwa, his modesty is related to his taqwa, and haya is connected with the makhluk, not with the khaliq, not with the makhluk. Haya is connected to the creator, not with the creation. People think that haya, the relationship of haya, modesty, is with the creation. No, the haya, modesty, is connected with Allah. A person who does haya with the creation, a person who feels shame committing a sin in front of the people, therefore he will hide and commit sin. When a person feels shame committing a sin in front of other people, then he will hide and commit sin. Whereas shame is actually connected with Allah. So the person should feel ashamed committing a sin, in seclusion. Who is a behaya person? Who is a shameless person? Is that person who commits sin hidden, in seclusion. A shameless person is not one who is committing a sin openly. A shameless person is that person who commits a sin while in seclusion. Gee, it's heavy, man. A person who commits, and the reason why this is because a person who commits a sin openly, he is actually not even a human. He comes under the category of a beast, an animal. So he doesn't even come under the category of an insan. So a shameless person, a shameless human, is a person who commits sin in seclusion. A person who openly commits a sin is classified as a donkey. In the hadith it comes. Salman Farsi radhiyallahu anhu, he's about to get married. He got married, sorry. And the people asked, in the morning, his friends asked him, how was your night? He spent his night with his wife. People in a halal way, people asked that, how was your night? So in a halal way, he spent his night. His friends asked him that, how was your night spent? He stayed quiet. He said, no, tell us what happened at night. He stayed quiet. His friends asked him that, why aren't you telling that how was your night spent? He said that I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying that person who spends his night with his halal wife in a halal way and then tells his friends in the morning of what happened and how it happened, then they are like donkeys who cohabit in public. That those people who do this, they are like donkeys. If a person, imagine a person who in a halal way with his halal wife, that when a person with his halal wife in a halal way spends the night, but then just gives the news of this in the next morning, he is classified as a donkey. Then what about those people who actually do the act in public? People who commit sin openly, people say that, do you not feel ashamed doing this in public? If you want to do it hidden. No, my dear brothers. A shameless person is the one who commits sin in seclusion. People who commit sin in seclusion, they are the behaya people, they are the shameless people. Those who commit sin openly, they don't even come into the category of people. Because haya is the sifat of insan, not the sifat of an animal. Modesty, shamefulness is something connected to a human, insan, not something that is connected to animals. So if a person opens up the news of how he spent the night with his wife, and he opens up the news of this to people, then he is just like that donkey who committed this act during the day in front of people. My dear brothers, haya is that feeling shameful in seclusion in front of Allah. Uthman radhiyallahu anhu never used to undress completely even while he was completely alone, because he used to feel ashamed, being aware that Allah is watching me. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to mention that Uthman is the one with the most haya. One with the most haya is Uthman radiyallahu anhu. even during ghusl, he never used to undress completely. Hazrat Umar used to say that if the iman of Uthman was to be distributed amongst a large group of people, that his iman would be sufficient for all of them. That if you were to distribute the iman of Uthman upon a large group of people, then all of the people would have sufficient amount of iman that which they require. So it is mentioned that your haya is based on your iman. Uthman who never even used to undress completely while having ghusl. So Yusuf alayhi salam, he managed to escape. Zulaykha covered up the statue. She put cloth over her statue that she used to worship. And she said that this is my creator, this is my God. I don't want to do what I want to do with you while my God is watching. So she's feeling ashamed because she has iman upon that statue. So she has iman on that statue, so she covered it up, so that when she commits this act, she didn't want her false god to see. He could not see, it's only a statue, but this is the belief that she had, that this so-called God is watching me. So this is haya. A kafira, a disbelieving woman, is feeling ashamed of her false God, but a mu'min does not feel ashamed of the actual creator. How could this happen? How could this happen? So this is how he thought. This is the iman that he had. And upon this, Allah opened up all the doors for him to get away, to escape from them. Allah will test the people of iman. Allah will always test the people of iman. Allah will test them to see what they will do in these situations. Allah will test the people the believers in the earnings. That will they refrain from interest and usury? Allah will test people in their businesses. So when people in their businesses, they refrain from interest. In their refraining from interest, refraining from the haram, Allah will test them with halat. Conditions will come upon them. They will face difficulties. Those who have weak iman, they will say, what can we do? We're living in the system, our iman is weak. We were a little bit hasty in our decision. And then they will fail in this test. They will fall back into usury and interest. My dear brothers, iman is not something that you wait to be made. For a person, okay, let me run my business based on interest and usury, and I'll wait for my iman to be made, then I'll change. Iman is not made by waiting. Iman is made by fulfilling the commands of Allah. When we fulfill the commands of Allah, then our iman is made. So your taqwa will be tested, my dear brothers. Yusuf alayhi salam, he escaped from this. And then Allah tested him. So when he escaped from there, he was accused of something. And then he was imprisoned because of it. And not only that, let the halat become better, then I'll do the work. No, even while he is in prison, he's doing the effort of da'wah. Allah sees that. Allah wants to see that does this person continue doing his work and fulfilling his responsibility, in every condition, or based on the condition does he leave his responsibility? So people will be tested in the conditions. Like Ka'b ibn Malik and the other two Sahaba, they were tested at the time of Tabligh. And because of their halat, the condition, say that, but when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam returned, they told the truth, so that we had no reason to stay back. A person who tells the truth, his success comes with a delay. And those who lie, their destruction comes with a delay. Those who lie, they will be destroyed later on. Immediately they will think that I've become successful. Those who tell the truth, immediately they will see difficulty, but later on they will become successful. So the Ka'b in Malik, who he thought that if I make up some excuse, I can escape, but then he thought, no, immediately I might get away with it, but later on, what will I say later? So as I was saying, there were 5 promises on taqwa. That whoever adopts taqwa, I will make a way out of every difficulty for him. Second promise, I will give rizq from such a way where even he could not imagine. That Allah will provide from such means that he could not even imagine. And the Sahaba were given through 2 ways. One was against what they expected, or what they would even expect. One was against their intellect. Against the intellect was that Allah gave crops without any effort on the land. Allah gave crops without any effort on the land. My dear brothers, whatever the material means of the world that we have, the material means of the world, you will only get once through this, and there's no guarantee. But when a person gets through, if a person is getting through the promises of Allah instead, then he will get it again and again. For example, a cow has given, you've just milked the cow and you finish the milk, it will not come out again straight away, because that one amount that was in there, you already milked the cow. This is the apparent means of the world. Now only when the time is due again, then you will get the milk again. When you've milked all the goats and there's no milk left in the goats, at that time Miqdad said that now I'll slaughter the goat for you to prepare some food for you. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that no, don't slaughter the goat. Don't slaughter it yet. Miqdad said that, O Prophet of Allah, I've taken all the milk out. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that no, go and milk the goat. He went and he saw that all of the goats, their teats were full of milk again. The udders, were full of milk again. And then the Sahabi was told that milk the goats. One Sahabi said, actually my goats, they don't produce milk, they're too weak. He said, no, bring any one of them and bring a big pot. Sorry, this was Abu Bakr. He he said that, no, bring me any one of your goats, bring me a baby one even. Because milk comes from the treasures of Allah. Milk comes from the treasures of Allah. Bring me any one of these, even the baby goat. Today people look at the asbab and say that only when we have asbab, then Allah will give. No, my dear brothers, Allah's qudrat is not based on the asbab. Allah's qudrat is independent of the asbab, completely independent of the asbab. That which is based on the asbab is anything but the qudrat of Allah. So it was a disbelieving woman. She bought her goat, and Abu Bakr anhu, he then filled the entire bowl with milk. She was shocked. People, they listen to these incidents, oh, they were the prophets, they were the Sahaba, those times have gone. This is now the era of the asbab. This is why we are so disgraced in this world today. So we have fixed all the barakat and the help of Allah only with the time of Sahaba. My dear brothers, the help of Allah is here until the day of judgment. The condition is that you invite towards the real asbab, which is the ahkam and the commands of Allah. So I mentioned there are two ways. One is against the intellect, one is against what we expect. Sahaba were helped in these two ways. Against their intellect and against what they expected. When Sahabi mentioned that I have so much debt that if I don't preserve even one date for myself and my family and give everything that I earn to fulfill my debt, then after years and years my debts will be cleared. Nabi said, have you taken all the dates? He said, I have. He said that call all the people who you owe to. They all came and they took what was due to them. And the Sahabi mentioned that I could not even see the reduction of one single date from that which I had taken from my garden, from my trees. So my dear brothers, as I was saying, that when a person has taqwa, Allah will provide means for which he cannot even imagine. Then after that is mentioned, the next promise is that those people who fear Allah, those who adopt taqwa, we make things easy for them. That those people who are muttaqi, we make their jobs, their works easy for them. We create easiness for them. A person who adopts taqwa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will create sahulat, will create easiness for him. Dawud alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made metal soft like dough for him. Dough is in the flour. When you make the dough, made it soft like dough for him. So he was told that why Dawud alayhi salam did not want to take from the Bayt al-Mal. Instead he was given a job of a blacksmith to work with metal. And then Allah made his work so easy for him. His job, the job that he had, he made his job easy for him, that he could mold metal just like you're molding dough, shaping dough. So every day he would create chainmail, the armor, and he's selling it for 6,000 each day. Those Sahaba that were governors, they used to make baskets from the remnants of the leaves that they used to have when they would pick dates. They would make baskets from those leaves and those the strands that they had. And the governors never used to take from Baitul Mal. So they would earn themselves and maintain themselves from it. So Imam Fasir used to be given 5,000 from the Baitul Mal. He was like the judge. He was like the judge amongst the people. And whatever money he was given, he used to spend it on the orphans and the widows. But for his own expenditure, he used to make baskets. And whatever he used to get from making baskets, he used to survive off this. And whatever he was given from the Baitul Mal, in order to preserve his rewards in the Akhirat, he used to spend it all on the poor and the needy. Because the Sahaba want to preserve all of the good deeds in the Akhirat. They used to say that all of the wealthy Sahaba went from this world crying, fearing that Allah has maybe rewarded them in the world because of their good actions. They used to all leave this world crying. So, the third promise was that Allah will make easiness in your works. The fourth promise is that those people who come to taqwa and those who refrain from haram, Allah increases their rewards and forgives their sins. And the fifth one, I missed it. Okay, it was these two things, the fourth and the fifth. Is that Allah increases their reward, and then the fifth one is Allah forgives their sins. But dear brothers, if we correct our mu'amalat, in three ways will be corrected. Your ibadat will be corrected, your iman will be corrected, and your masharat will be corrected. Ghaflat in your amal, in your masharat behayai, shamelessness, and then in your akhlaq, the akhlaq, these three things. If you correct your mu'amalat, then your ibadat, your masharat, and your akhlaq will be corrected. Said that only when you purify yourself, then you gain the benefits. Just the more pure the water is, the more pure the pearls you get from that water. That your one morsel that you eat and you consume, don't take as something small. This is an ocean. Even if one drop of your blood is produced from haram earnings, that has to burn in the fire of Jahannam. Purity is not that you have a bath or do wudu. It's keeping your body purified of haram drops of blood. This will come through purifying your mu'amalat, your dealings, your transactions. Making wudu, ghusl, this is apparent purity. But also keeping your body pure of haram drops of blood is also apparent purity. Not hidden purity, apparent purity. When blood, the pure blood, leaves your body, then it becomes impure. But those people who earn haram, even while the blood is inside their body, it is impure. Now when the impure blood runs through your whole body, including your mind, then why will that mind not go towards haram, haram thoughts? If that impure blood is running through your whole body, then why will your hands not go do something haram? Why will your feet not go towards haram? Why will your private parts not go towards haram? If that blood flowing through your body is impure. This is why you have to purify your blood by purifying your mu'amalat. Then your ma'asharat and your ibadat and your akhlaq will be purified. Because the body of an insan is a machine of amal. Is a machine of amal. He's saying that when you purify your blood, meaning what you consume, you'll get much more elevated. This is why we see that those transports which need to reach great heights like aeroplanes, their fuel has to be the most pure of fuels. The jet fuel is the most pure of fuel. Whereas a machine in the ground, even if it's got some amount of dirt in them, the machines will still run. But an aeroplane, when it flies in the sky, you cannot even have a single speck of dirt in there. You have to have the right fuel inside you. Just like a person, if he puts diesel into a petrol car, the car will not run. Or petrol into a diesel car, the car will not run. How can an insan who needs pure blood to get to Jannat, how can you have impure blood and expect to get to Jannat? This is why if you purify your mu'amalat, your ibadat, your ma'asharat and your akhlaq will be purified. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not declared war against anyone except those who take interest in usury, because this is impure means of nourishment. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has challenged, has declared war against people who take usury and interest. Now an example is that there are two neighbors fighting. The children don't know. So the child goes and gets from the neighbor where they're arguing. You bring it back, he says, I got it from the neighbor. The father will slap him and say, go take it back. He's our enemy. Now if a person is taking interest in his business and then asking from Allah as well, whereas Allah has declared war against him, how can he get from Allah? It was mentioned that if these people don't refrain from interest, then this is a declaration of war against me, against Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if they don't refrain from sin. My dear brothers, this is why I said that first and foremost you bring taqwa in your mu'amalat. Bring taqwa in your mu'amalat. Most people are oblivious to this. They're unaware of this. Your masail, your issues will be resolved through that namaz which is pure, with your salat which is on taharat, which is based on purity. What purity? Through your mu'amalat, purify your body, the blood in your body. Then use that body in ibadat. Then your du'as will be accepted. This is why one morsel of haram, your du'as get wasted. Whereas your du'a is Your dua is the fruits of your worship. A person who's disheveled, making dua Allah, saying Allah, Allah, but how can that person's dua be accepted? Whereas his dress is haram, his eating is haram. He's saying Ya Rabbi, making dua. But how can his dua be accepted when his wearing is haram, his consuming, his eating is haram? My dear brothers, through da'wat we have to fulfill every part of our deen. This is the maqsad of da'wat. A muhajir is not the person who has left his people. A muhajir, an immigrant, is that person who has left all the things that Allah has made forbidden. He is a muhajir. Umar used to mention, a muhajir is he who has abandoned all haram, all forbidden things. He is a muhajir. This is why, my dear brothers, in every part of our life, fulfilling the commands of Allah is the real thing. Through da'wat we have to present the practical deen. This is why, my dear brothers, we have to change our lives through this work. Our Islam, our correction is based on da'wat. Because da'wat changes two things. One, it corrects your yaqeen. Second, it creates the environment of deen. Allah's kept this effect in da'wat. Yaqeen will be made and a mahol, an environment will be made. Creating an environment is clear. That if you see something forbidden happen, change it with your hands. This is not picking up a sword. Changing it with your hands means that take them from the environment of sin and bring them into a pure environment of amal. You can't then give targheeb through your tongue. Give targheeb from your speech. Through this, change the mahol. This is the way of changing the munkar. Change the place of the environment. Change the environment. Bring them out of the environment of sin and bring them into the environment of good. This is the easiest way. Change their place of the amal. Change their place. If these people come out of the environment of sin and they come into the environment of good, then their lives will change. Because the environment of good, the effect of this is that it will stop a person from sin. Like a person, he prays salat, it will stop him from sin if he prays the actual salat. If a person is in the masjid, he will automatically not commit sin. So physically make effort. So instead of actually challenging the sins in the environment of sin, instead bring them into the environment of good. They would automatically refrain from the sin. Commonly people say that you invite towards good but you do not forbid the evil. So no, when you bring people towards the good, the evil will automatically stop. If a person prevents somebody from forbidden things, by that person trying to directly stop a person from committing sin, doesn't always take effect. But if a person comes onto the good, that good has the power to stop that person permanently from the sin. And this is the sunnah way. This is the sunnah way. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam The people of Taqif, when they came from Taif, they said, I'm not going to pray, we're not going to give zakat, we're not going to do jihad, and we're not going to break our statues for 3 years. For 3 years we're not going to break our statues. But the rest of Islam will accept these faraid. No namaz, no salat, no zakat, no jihad. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, keep them in the environment of the masjid. Keep them in the environment of the masjid, because the environment of the masjid has this effect that it will soften their hearts towards Islam. That the environment will change their hearts. Two things come from mahol, through an environment. One is a person will become stronger on Islam, and one is sincerity in his tawbah. Just like that person from Bani Israel who murdered 99 people and then 100. So that if he want, that he had to leave his environment. The worshipper disheartened him, but the alim guided him. Because the ulama show you the correct way. That's the job of the ulama. That is the job of the ulama, to show the correct way. So the alim said that if you want tawbah, leave your environment. Leave your environment, leave your village, and then you will get forgiven. This is a real thing. My dear brothers, the way of real tawbah is going out in the path of Allah. And this is the real tazkiyah. This is the real Islam. So when you leave your environment, then you will. Because while a person is remaining in the environment of sin, he cannot understand the severity of his sins. A person who has not seen the light cannot understand the darkness he is in. A blind person cannot understand darkness because he's never seen anything to compare it to. Just like in a similar manner, when a person is drowning in sin, in the darkness of sin, he cannot understand the severity of his sins. So the alim said that if you want tawbah, leave your environment. Then as soon as he left, he died. Death came to him. Then Allah forgave him by changing the entire nizam of the land. One portion of the land, he said, you gather yourself. Another said, you spread yourself. He said to the angels that you measure the distances. If he's travelled more, he's forgiven. If he's travelled less, then he's punished. But then in the meantime, Allah stretched the land that he travelled and compressed the land that he had left. And then forgave him. So khuruj is the way of tawbah. So my dear brothers, we have to change our lives, make niyat inshallah, change our lives. And the second thing, we have a responsibility with regards to the entire ummah. And we are responsible for each other. It doesn't matter where the entire ummah is throughout the whole world, we are all one body. And we are all on one ship. We are all one body. If one finger is hurting, the whole body is restless. If we have one pain in our foot, the whole body gets fever. Some illnesses are such that the blood in the entire body gets affected by it. So my dear brothers and sisters, we make niyat that through this effort we will change our environment. Through this effort we will change our environment and our environments. So for this we make niyat inshallah that we will do ourselves And we are going to make effort to bring the whole of the ummah onto this. Those ulama who are completing 1 year, we make intention for 5 months abroad. Those who are making 4 months also make intention for 5 months. Those who come for 40 days, we request that you increase your time to 4 months. So brothers make intention, inshallah.